As we said before, we could have stopped right here and the app would still be great and it's functional, it works fine. We can check our answers and so forth. So everything is great here. But because we're progressing in our knowledge here, I'm going to introduce you very simple animations. Now, there's two ways that we can do animations in Android. We can do animations using XML, so using the views the way we use everything else, user interfaces, or we can use directly the code. So we're going to do both. So the first animation we're going to look at here is the XML kind of animation that we can then invoke. So essentially with this kind of animation, we create an XML file, we create all of the attributes of the animation, and then we invoke in code. Okay. To do that, we have to create another folder inside of a res file called animation or anim, A-N-I-M, inside of a res, so that Android knows where to find that folder. So that case here, we are trying to, again, compartmentalize all of our code, everything in separate folders. So that is what we do. So inside of our res here, I'm going to right click, I'm going to say new, and I'm going to go and create an Android resource directory. So click like that, and notice there are different types here. I want a source with different kind of type. I want the anim type. The moment you click like that, everything turns into anim for animation. Just go ahead and say OK, and that's fine. Once you do that, then inside we're going to create an animation source file. So again, new, okay, and I want to create animation resource file. Click there, and we're going to call this shake animation. Okay. So this will allow us to actually show some sort of a shake rotation to our animation. It gives us this blank set. So instead of a set here, I'm actually going to change this to rotate, but I have the code already. So I'm going to copy it and paste it all in here so you can actually see everything. So I'm going to copy that and get rid of that. Paste it all in there. Okay, so what's happening here? Let me just show you the code. So it's going to be rotate, and we're closing at the bottom here. So inside we have this namespace, all that stuff, but most importantly, we have this duration of 3 milliseconds from degrees -10, and we're gonna 2 degrees 10. So that means what we're doing here, we're gonna be rotating from -10 degrees to 10 degrees. We can change these degrees, but we're saying we're gonna move left and right, rotating left and right. And we have repeat mode, reverse, so that means it goes left and right. We can actually tell our XML here what kind of repeat mode we want this to be. Count. In this case, I'm just going to say once. So it's not going to repeatedly do the same animation over and over. Okay. If I say infinite there, it's just going to keep going forever, and we don't want that. So the pivot point Y here. So in Y axis, how much we want to pivot. So only 30%, so not too much. X as well, 30%. Okay. That is very easy. So we can create these different rotations, these different animations resources that we can use in code so that we can actually show the animation. All right, very good. So we have this now inside of our res, inside of our anim folder here. And now it's time for us to go to the code and see how do we do this. So let's go to our code here, and I'm going to create another method here. I'm going to say private. I'm going to call this void shake animation. That's better. All right, what is that we're going to do? What first thing we need to instantiate the actual class, the animation class. So easily we can say animation like that, and I'm going to call this shake, and then I'm going to load our XML here. How do I do that? Well, we have a class called animation utils. There we go, for utilities, right? And I can say dot, look at this, load animation. Ah, very cool. For loading animation, we have to pass a context so that the whole Android ecosystem knows exactly where things are. So in this case here, I'm going to say just main activity.this. And the next thing we have to pass is r.animation folder dot shake animation. That's it. So now we have our shake animation in our animation class. Okay, so in this case here, as a class, we can just do things to it. Now, we have to think about it. What is it that we're trying to animate? At this point here, what we're trying to animate is essentially this whole view here, which is our card view. And it has an ID already of card view, and I'll leave it as it is. So we have to fetch this card view, because it's still an XML widget, and then perform the animation. So first of all, I'm going to say card view as that. Going to be card view is equal to find by id r.id.card view. Okay, very easy. And then I'm going to say card view dot set animation and just pass the shake. That's it. If I call this shake animation inside of the incorrect, because that is indeed where I want this to be called. Let's go to where is incorrect. That's going to be this one here. Let's just call this right there. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's save this. Quick run. Okay, let's try. This is true. That is wrong. And when it go next, that's when that happens. So something is not quite right here. What is it? Well, the problem here is that the shake animation, when we call it, in this case has been called inside of the else statement here. But notice that whenever we call this shake animation is actually inside of shake answer. Let's click on shake answer and see where exactly it's being called. So shake answer is being called the true and false. Now, the problem here is very simple, is that we have to call update as well for this to work. I'm going to do the same for this other one as well. That way, it will know how to update our view and do all sort of things, which will include the card view. In this case, it's going to go ahead and animate it as well. Okay, so that is the little trick there. The reason why we weren't seeing the actual result when we get something wrong, we only see when we go to the next one, is because it's just then having the chance to animate or having the chance to update the whole user interface. By that time, it's too late. So by calling the update question, just like we did before, after our check answer, that will make sure to update the whole interface so that we can right then and there see this shake animation if it's wrong. So save this and do another run here. Okay, let's see. This one is true. Nope, it's false. Look at that. You see that? Let's true. Nope, that's false. It gives that animation. This is true. Nope, that's false. So this is false, that's correct, so nothing happened, that's fine. This is true, no, that's false. You see? So we have that awesome animation working there. Very good. And I can come here to our shake animation. Instead of 300, I can say, for instance, I want 250. Okay, if you wanted something a little bit more aggressive, save that, refresh. So the duration of the animation is going to be faster now, right? Because the time for the whole animation to happen is shorter, I should say. Let's say true, let's see, much faster. And you can keep playing with this, and you see now that our application, our trivia app, is now getting a little bit more of a pizzazz, if you will. So those small things do matter, especially when we create applications that are very interactive in nature. Very good. So what I want you to do is play around with these numbers here, change them accordingly around, and see how that will affect the animation. Great. So in the next video, we're going to do the correct animation and add a few other visual features for our user to get the feedback. All right, perfect. I'll see you next.